Hello everyone, this is Bart Pear with PropertyDevelopmentSource.com, going through an actual site evaluation report that we did for one of our clients. The names and locations and everything have been changed out of privacy concerns for our client, but I think you will get a good idea of what we do when we go through and produce a real due diligence report. The ones you do don't need to be as formal as this. You don't need a nice cover picture like I'm showing here. But you want to make sure you have at least all the sections that we have. As you can see, I had a cover on there with an aerial of the site, and then I usually put our any concept plans that we might do right up front. This is actually an out parcel of a shopping center, and this client, we have several footprints that we use for the restaurant, the drive-through restaurant that they do, and we generally, depending on the size of the parcel, either do a standalone restaurant, or we try to combine it with some other possible retail commercial. This site was pretty narrow. We did several iterations and finally came up with two separate buildings where here's the main road here with the entrance into the shopping center and the entrance into the parcel. We ended up having about 3,900 square feet in here, and then the restaurant in the back. And you can see the road comes around here. There was another access point into the site that we're not actually going to use for this site if it worked out. But this was our initial concept plan. Everything laid out here is based on all of the setbacks, landscaping requirements, parking requirements. As you can see, I've got parking requirements here based on the restaurant, based on the square footage. Making sure we meet what's required by the jurisdiction. Then we get into the meat of the report. Usually how we do this is we put some basic site information up front, and let's zoom this out a little bit. Usually include the basic site information about the property on the front page, parcel ID number, owner, jurisdiction, county it's in, maybe some links to where it is, and some basic frontages. That shopping center was a planned development, a PUD, and it has an ordinance along with it, as you can see here. Then what we normally do is we put any major issues that are still outstanding in the report. Generally, the reports evolve over time. You'll do an initial one, get as much information as you can, and you'll be listing a bunch of areas where you didn't get information or you need follow-up, and we tend to put those in the front of our reports. And then as we go through and get more information, we revise them, we'll update them, and talk about the different issues as we go on. You can see if the issue gets resolved. We put in a note here, resolved. That way, if someone's picking this up, and they haven't thought about this project for a while, which often happens with developers, they can get back up to speed real quickly on what the major issues are. I won't go through detail too much about those. Next, we tend to put concurrency issues, but obviously if you want to do it differently for your reports, go right ahead. This is generally what the developers we work with like to see, though, so we put that right up front because those can be the major issues that can really stop a project before it ever gets started. We explain those. We put in our permitting and impact fee summaries from what we found out through the process, what it's going to cost just to get through the process, and what actual impact fees. They can go ahead and put those in to their pro formas. Then we go down and do our planning and zoning information. When you start looking at a piece of property, you'll end up having lots and lots and lots of information, and it's really nice to have one source that you can go to get most of it. And so we end up cutting and pasting a lot of stuff right into this report, and it generally helps. We end up using these a lot as we go through the project because you just know it's there and you look here first. So we'll put setbacks information, we'll put our landscaping requirements, we'll put our parking requirements right out of the code or whatever the jurisdiction is requiring or is overseeing it. We'll just cut and paste the stuff that we need for our design, and we have it in one place. We do the same thing with our utilities. We talk about the stormwater issues, who's the jurisdiction. This particular site, the stormwater was taken care of, not necessarily by the shopping center, but by an actual regional stormwater facility behind that the shopping center was already permitted into, and we explain that there. So everybody's up to speed quickly on what's going on with that. Same with sanitary and water. It's all in there. Access information. This is shopping center. We talk about the driveways, ingress, egress issues that may be there. And then we go through right into the site physical information, any phase 1 information we might have, any wetlands or endangered species, any geotechnical. And we have subsequent data printouts right from that we usually include in the back of the report. This right here is your impact fees calculations. We usually just put that right in so you know where we got our numbers. FEMA issues, we usually cut and paste that in there. If we've got a wetland map, we'll include it. All of that as well. One thing you'll notice in this report that I didn't show is a cost estimate. That's because of the client here. He's very familiar with the cost to develop these sites, and for this initial run he didn't ask us to do a cost estimate. But normally once you get a concept plan together, the next thing to do is get some initial costs going, and we'd normally include that in the report. So that's an actual case study, an actual site evaluation that we did for a client, and hopefully it helps you with your projects in the future. Thanks.